Hello and welcome to our last session for Free from the Yoke Rokugan. We've been playing this for a while. We had sessions last month, and before we decided that we would take the opportunity to do a kind of makeup session, since we had one that we had to miss, and we would do kind of the finale tonight. So we'll be doing some hard framing, quite possibly towards the end. But we're going to try and get some cappers on some stories. But for us, if you're watching this, it's been 2 weeks, so it's going to be a bit for us to kind of get back into the speed of things. By the way, this is part of the Gauntlet gaming calendar. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is a hack that I wrote, and we'll see where it goes from there. So, Sherry, let's go quickly through. Give us the elevator pitch on A, your clan, and then B, what your character represents within the clan.
Right. I am playing the Crab Clan. In this telling, we are this is just after what is that period called? We are in a time of rebuilding for the
after
Crab
the clan wars and the rise of Fulang and the destruction of Fulang.
And then the destruction of Fulang. So we are in a time of rebuilding. It's actually been a pretty good age for the crab. They've made inroads and pushed their front forward. So for them, the battles have been going well, but there's always that thing of their fortifications are behind because they're moving forward so much. So it'll be some time before they settle in and have the security of those fortifications. That bothers them because they're accustomed to those. They currently have influence over the Unicorn Clan. Their daimyo is Hida Moriko, who is cunning. Her rival for power is Kayu Yumiko, who is her twin sister, or who is her sister. No, twin sister. Essentially, in this version of the clan, the Crab Clan, those two women vie for the influence of people in the clan and the straight of it. Of course, when it's for battle, Hida makes the rules. When it is for relations with the rest of the clans, it is often the Kayu Yumiko who leads the clan in those things. The Yusuki tend to break any ties when there are those situations, which means that a lot of times Kayu Yumiko has more options at her disposal.
And then tell us about Haruma Reiko, and what is her role within the clan right now and her playbook?
Okay, so right now, her playbook is a magistrate. She had served fairly well as a scout and a sort of diplomat of sorts, but unfortunately, her romance with Doji Satsumi and then his rise as the daimyo of the Crane Clan made Haruma Reiko the sort of political pawn that Crab did not wish to have to deal with, so they picked her up out of that equation and set her where none would touch her. And of course, that meant dealing with the shadow as a magistrate. So she is, how should we say, doing the dirty work that must be done.
Okay, that gives a good sense. Tyler, since we've just spoken of the Crane, why don't you tell us about the Crane clan and then who you are within that clan?
All right. The Crane clan has been doing fairly well, I think, during this time of rebuilding. The Crane clan is a clan of culture and refinement, and we have been we're very firm supporters of the Emperor, and I like to think we've brought a level of civility back into the empire now that war is over. We have been doing our best to help other clans be stronger. We've aided the Mantis. We've been firm allies to both Phoenix and to Unicorn, going out of our way to be, in fact, a beacon of light in this dark, dark time. And we are led by the most glittering of lights. That's me, Doji Satsumi, who is the Daimyo of Crane. As mentioned, the heartbroken former lover of our crab. Close friends with both our Phoenix and our Unicorn. And I think it's fair to say I've been trying to be a very good guy, Crane. We have not seen Crane be nasty or duplicitous. And currently, on mission from my emperor, I am trying to bring the Dragon Clan back into the fold of court. So that's us.
All right. Let's come to the Unicorn Clan then.
So the Unicorn Clan has not been doing great. The Unicorn Clan seems to run into a lot of problems with everything they try to do. And particularly the pursuing the redemption story with Naganori Riko did not so much end up in a redemption story. But they are the Horse Lords of Rokugan. They are the outside clan that's come back home, and they bring strange traditions and magics with them. Right now, there has been sort of rumblings. You know, the clan has been led for years by Shinjo Miho, but her leadership has become more and more questioned recently as Motoyasu is leading her family to book for the head position. I think
There was some scenes of pressure on that score last time, as well as a strong zoom in where we got to see the fate of the Naganori, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, went in with the corrupted sorcerers, the blood sorcerers that he'd fallen in with. Great assault on their very magical keep with all sorts of cool magics on our side, and a tragic ending between brother and sister.
Yeah.
But so I'm playing Shinjo Hikaru, who was once a great and fantastical Shugenja, is now less respected or esteemed monk. Or at least he really puts on that he is. He ended up quite damaged in that assault on the keep. Do flesh wounds go away with time?
Flesh wounds go away with time, but other wounds require you to go to someplace where there's a ready source, essentially a ready asset to allow you to take time to recover. Some people may have moves that affect that.
And I had been in the radical role. I think with his decisions and where I'm going this session, I'm shifting over to the Ronin role.
Interesting.
Which is mark when you set out into the world to walk your own path. Say what legends you're chasing the truth of. The GM says where you might find further clues.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure what that second part is yet, but I do know what his own path is going to be.
And then let's come to our Phoenix clan.
Sure. I'm playing the Phoenix clan. My name is Scott, he, him. And the Phoenix clan, of course, is the clan of ancient and old and dangerous knowledge. And this has been a mixed stage for us. We've definitely improved, strengthened our stature with the imperial court, but at the same time, we're always teetering on the edge of not morality. Our morality is just fine. On morale within the clans themselves, we're not quite balancing meeting our needs with the resources that we have, and needless to say, our um, our daimyo is still holding strong. There's not too many rumblings against them. I am playing Shiba Kazuko, currently a Shugenja. Kazuko is fairly optimistic, once bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, um, um, want to be adventurer, really. Grew up hearing those awesome tales of Hikaru, some of them true for sure, some of them not true. It doesn't matter. They were all amazing and all pushed her into this life of wanting to be that kind of hero of history, hero of the ages that she grew up hearing about. And but yeah, and she's but luckily for her, she's got a good outlook on life, and there we are.
Control for the kingdom is at 6. Turmoil is at 2. Our project is the bringing of the Ronins, shepherding and changing culture to bring the Ronins in. Progress clock on that is at 4 out of 5. The doom clock is at 2 out of 5. Now, I said originally I thought we'd go to a holding court thing, but I realized that we have enough kind of outstanding things like Doji Satsumi's travel to the dragon, Shiba Kazuko dealing with the woods, and Hikaru's sort of choices, including being asked to take up this marriage, as well as the tensions between your two potential leaders. Those are all things that are kind of outstanding there. So let's hold off on that court thing unless it kind of comes naturally that we'll go to that. But what I want to do is I do want to start with the Shiba and our Phoenix clan, because when we played last time, Scott took up the Magistrate's playbook. So when we do the zoom in Shiba Kazuko, when we come to you, whatever you want to do house move wise is going to happen with advantage. So what would you like to do?
What was the do you remember the outcome? So I tried to communicate with Hikaru to entice him to come to the marriage-free haunted forest, and I remember fumbling my role, but I
you
didn't
contact them, and the cost was that the crops were destroyed, as you may.
Okay, yeah. So that dropped my morale. Okay, so I do I have a house move, or do I just want to send a message to him?
Well, just to let you know, I do have a house move. Ride fast to any summons. When you ride to, oh no, wait, that's not right. Oh yeah, there we go. If anyone anywhere sends you a message by rider or bird, you may narrate the arrival of a small band by the dawn of the next day.
All right, so yeah, then I would go ahead and use the ritual again. Hopefully not failing. You found my iPad. Oh my God. Joy.
Well, I don't think we need to have you necessarily do the ritual. I think if you just send a messenger,
yeah,
we can.
Yeah, so I want to send a messenger to Hikaru to, I'm sure the intrigues of court, I don't know all the particulars that have really gone on as a character, but I'm sure the intrigues of court aren't as enjoyable as a life of adventure. Join me if you would like to, investigate these forests of mystery, that kind of message. But it playing up, I'm sure, regardless of what happens at his court, he's not happy. It's not the life for him. I know this because I've read all the stories. So I'm playing up the aspect of kind of freedom from all the clan responsibilities. And
Oh yeah, and he would definitely take that any excuse, but this is a good excuse. I mean, haunted forests with Kazuko does sound sort of fun. To get away from what's happening in the Unicorn Lands right now.
So we have two ways I think we can do this. One is that we actually do a zoom in and kind of go to the forest with Shiba and Shinjo. Alternately, we can resolve what happens in the forest with a house move that you have advantage on, and then I can have the two of you kind of narrate that and go to the character moments about your interaction. You know what comes out of that. So, Scott, this is really on you because this is something we kind of have held away for a bit. Which would you prefer to do?
well, one of my moves was that I really took us as the master of rituals. And so I think I'd love to use one of these rituals as part of the, you know, um, cleansing of this area in however narrative a way. I'm more interested as well as you are in what happens between Kazuko and Hikaru along the way. But
Well,
so I've
then
got, yeah,
let's actually kind of we won't do it as a full zoom in, but let's kind of cut to those woods, and I'll give you advantage on your ritual roll. And so who is with Kazuko and Hikaru that has survived the journey into these haunted woods?
I think there's probably only a small number of retainers left. Um, Hikaru, did you bring anybody with you, or did you come on your own?
Hikaru showed up alone. It's just him and Masa, his horse. But he does have. That's what I have for. So I think he has what you would recognize as the arrow of fire and the say robes of the void, but some of the old Shugenja spells and tools that you haven't seen in years.
The thing that you have found, the closer you've gotten to this section of the woods, is that the two of you are both strongly spiritually connected, both have those talents, kami, and you've seen ghosts in these woods of all kinds. And you realize that what has happened is there is a rupture in this section of the forest between this world and Mayado, the realm of the dead. That is what is happening, is there's that kind of bleed out. And the more recently dead have come out, but some of the older ones. So tell me, Shiba Kazuko, as you have traveled, making your way through this, some of your people have been taken away by ghosts, some of them have run scared. What ghost have you seen that has spoken to you, has been significant to you? What shade has communicated with you?
Oh, it should be an ancestor. Perhaps an ancestor I'd never heard of before. Someone from So we're just after the. So I'm trying to remember my.
Did they fall in the war against Fuleng? Did they fall in the war between the clans, or did they fall in some earlier age?
I think they fell in the war against the clans.
Okay. When after the Scorpion attempted to the clan coup and the clans were fighting against one another, or actually as before the coup. So male, female, old, young?
Let's go with male. Old.
Okay.
Old, very old. Maybe an older Shugenja from from our clan, an ancestor of mine.
And
Direct lineage.
when you first saw them, you thought it was another Shugenja because they are clearly trying to do the rituals to close the gates, but they don't realize they're dead, kind of. And when they see you, they will say, "Ah, young apprentice, you must come and help me. The
Of
gates
course,
to the other side have been opened. There are many ghosts around here. You must be careful."
yes, we've encountered the ghosts. I'm here with Shinjo Hikaru of Unicorn, and I am Shiba Kazuko.
Your name is not known to me.
Who are you?
I am Asawa Ueno. And you would know that they are probably like a grand uncle to you.
My time is after your time. That is why you do not know me.
What are you saying?
I'm here to help you, I believe. But you've been trying to close this rift for a very long time now.
That's why. And he kind of turns to smoke there. Shinjo Hikaru, who is the shade that you see? Someone you saw die, an ancestor, someone you didn't realize is dead? What do you think?
I don't think it's someone that I recognize, but it's an older man. I think like the daimyo of a minor clan in this area. Agasha Masaru.
So, of the dragon?
Oh, they said it was Phoenix.
Oh, that's a long story. So, but yes, we'll consider that that's a whole later saga thing.
Gotcha.
But yes, and
but yeah, I think it's the leader of his small clan at one point. I think he died shortly after he had to. I think kill his daughter for the Shadowland taint that she had fallen under Fulang's sway, and that she had pledged her soul, her blood, and her house to Fulang's cause.
And what is significant about this figure? What does this figure communicate to you?
I think his restlessness is the same thing that ended him, that broke his heart, that ended his life, is this question of was it worth it? Was that the right choice? Was this following duty blindly over family, following the strictures of his office and the codes of the kingdom, was that worth it?
And the thing is, he looks at you and he's asking himself, but he says it to you in a way that makes that question for you. He says, was it worth it?
What happened after? Once you were gone, once she was gone, what happened to your clan?
They live. They survive. I was a minor branch. The clan continues and they forget us. We are our steps in the wheels of the ancestor that passed down. We make no mark.
Then, if the pain is washed away by time, but your family is not, then isn't that worth it? Sounds like it.
And he looks at you and he says, "It is not." And then he is gone. I'm going to come back to you two, and we're going to get to the heart of the forest, and we're going to do the ritual and work all that out. But I want to come to Sherry, since you were part of this crew that went with Doge Setsume. Would you leave his expedition at that point?
Nobunaga took a substantial wound. I would definitely see her through that. Let us say that to a crane and the Kuni that accompany her, one who will strike down their brother when they understand they are tainted, that is a samurai that you honor. So if that makes any sense.
And I think we cut to a scene. Hikaru has had to leave. Setsumi has continued on his voyage downriver. You have gone to some place, and I think she will say, "I thought my war was against the Scorpion. I don't know if it is."
You have, and she stops and she goes, the blood speakers, to fight them is to fight against despair. We of the crab will go and clean up, but we do not have the tools to fight that.
But you have a purpose.
We do.
I am a Ronin now. The unicorn have been good to me, but my clan is gone, and the Scorpion, who I would have been a vassal to, they are cut off and away from me. Toturi has said that Ronin can find a place. Can I find a place with the crab?
My father did. I will ride back with you, and I will speak for you.
And I think there is that thing of the healing of that, and you return with your inquisitorial staff. There is some conversation with you that goes, you were asked to stay away from Doge Satsume, and you did not.
She goes, that is true.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this could kind of play onto this just a moment, and it isn't any role play thing. I would have given you the sword.
Oh.
The blade. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think she would say, that was true, but he made an offer to our clan that I could not refuse. And she'll set the box down very carefully, and she says, do not touch it.
And the Kuni witch hunter who is there with the painted mask face will step forward and reach out with a stick, and will lift the lid and won't say anything, but will nod back. And your daimyo goes, "You keep edging these things."
And she nods and she goes, "He's an able politician."
He is a crane.
Oh, yes. And she bows again.
Do not ever forget that. We will be at war with the crane again. It is inevitable. And we cut from there to Doji Setsume. And your expedition arriving at the keep of the Dragonfly.
Excellent.
They are the kind of gatekeepers for the Dragon Mountains, and their family name is Tanbo. And so the Tanbo daimyo will lay out the finest spread for you. It is pale and wan and unglorious, but it has a certain rough, skill to it. And he will say, "You did send word ahead that you were coming. I have sent word along. I would ask what your business is with the dragon on the mountain."
I come upon the Emperor's business, but not only that, I come upon business with your own clan. And I must thank you for welcoming me so warmly, for providing such a glorious feast. I've had a very long travel, and to be greeted as a friend in this way is, well, it is heartwarming and shows the strength of the Empire. I have brought with me I suppose, it is not a gift, it is an obligation, but it is also an honor from the capital. Your clan and you have been given uh, the right to try in this area. Your wisdom and your knowledge show that you would be excellent to stand as the Emperor's judge in this area, and I'm bestowing an office upon this diamond.
Okay. And is there a role for that move, or is it just an effect?
It is a roll.
Okay.
So, let's see, let me pull it up. Gift of office. I can only do it once per season, but I rolled slight, and so I shall.
And I actually want to reframe this, because the
Okay.
daimyo that you wanted to give this to was actually the Kitsuki. So we'll say that he is there because he's
No.
one of the
I want to give the big gift, my big age only, to the dragon Kutsumi.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because they're the ones that are the investigators. I just want to make sure that, because that's not what the Dragonfly do. Okay.
I'll ask: is there a more appropriate office that would suit here?
I think to essentially to handle the imperial taxation, take the office of like the imperial
That's what I
or kind of thing. I think that would be more appropriate. For
Okay,
them.
then that's what that's the office that I'll be bestowing.
All right, let's have you roll with sleight.
Yeah, come on, baby. Woohoo! That's a 13.
That is a 13. You get to pick 2 effects.
I will take influence on that person's clan.
Okay, on the Dragonfly.
And I assume he's honored. Hasn't been dishonored.
Absolutely.
So I ain't gonna worry about that. I will well, I guess I probably can't take him as an asset. How about one of his relations? I could do that. One related to them.
He says, you're talking, and he says, my niece has a great admiration for the crane. She is trained as a diplomat amongst our clan, but it would be a great honor and personal favor to me if you could speak to have her join with the Doji courtier school. And other people, outside people, do come from time to time. It's a great honor to do that.
We would be very pleased to have her. It would be, well, to have one of your fine clan amongst our school will only be an honor to our school.
And he will bring her out, and he says, and I will have her accompany you to see the Miramoto, and brings her out, and she's a diamond in the rough. She is a beautiful young woman. You can see that perhaps getting her out of here from this provincial thing is part of his goal. And she will bow and thank you profusely for this. She has good manners.
Oh, excellent. Let me ask. Okay, she's going to help me get to the Morimoto.
He says,
Mm-hmm.
There is some division amongst the clan.
I have heard rumors of such.
But the person who holds the reins is Miramoto Hitomi.
Is that what we knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It says Togashi's son is a great and powerful figure, but also strange and unusual. And he has not gathered the support of many in the clan. But it has created something of division. But by rights and offices at this moment, Miramoto Hitomi is the clan champion, the leader of the clan, speaks for her people. The Togashi family bow their knee to her, and she is the one you'll wish to speak with.
Thank you. Now back out of this lull.
Sure.
The family that the Emerald Champion and who we mentioned just a few minutes ago that was most likely to come to the court
is the Kitsuki. They are a small family amongst the dragon that specialize in investigations.
Okay. I cannot thank you enough for aiding me in meeting with the Morimoto, but I would enjoy visiting the court of Kitsuki. The court of Kitsuki, perhaps before I meet the great Morimoto.
I think that it will be, and he says this very diplomatically, it will be necessary for you to meet with the Miramoto first. I do not wish to naysay on this, but I know that Miramoto told me greatly desires to meet with you, and the daimyo of the Kitsuki will be present at her court.
Well, I came because of your legendary wisdom, and I would be a fool to ignore it. Thank you so much.
And he will take his daughter, and you'll have a couple of days there, and then she will go to lead you up the mountain.
Will I have enough time that my bodyguard will be able to be healed?
Does he have a heavy wound?
I don't know if I don't know how it's set. He was an offshoot of a move where you said he got hurt.
Yeah, then I think that he can go with you, but he's clearly injured,
Okay.
Clearly wounded. Like he will be some time in recovering, but he will push to go with you.
Okay.
So we reach the center of this forest of ghosts, ghost haunted, ghost-ridden, all manners of ghosts. Hikaru, what is the sound or smell or noise that tells you that you are getting close to this rupture?
It's ruptured into the spirit world?
Yes,
or
there's a
just-
tear from here into that realm.
I think it's a wind, a howling wind that as we get closer resolves into wails and screams and moans, that sort of thing.
Do you just hear the wind, or do you hear the wind and feel the wind?
I think the weird thing is that we don't feel the wind, even though the trees and underbrush around us is more and more getting whipped up.
Yeah, but you don't feel any of it. The air is still and dead around you, even though the trees and the plants are moving. And even here, you're hearing this sound, but it doesn't ruffle your clothes, doesn't carry dust into your face or anything like that. When you reach the center of this tear, Shibakazuko, what do you see? What is the visible manifestation of this rupture?
There's a old shrine, corrupted, symbols marred. Looks almost like a shrine that the kami would build in mockery of ourselves. And the light here barely penetrates through the forest. So we can only see by the light that we brought with us. And even then, it doesn't seem to penetrate the darkness well.
So it's more that you see the hints and echoes of this shrine, the outlines, like where the light kind of catches onto it. And like each time the light kind of moves, it almost looks, the shrine almost shifts a little, like it changes just a bit. And you said you are going to settle yourself in to do this ritual, right?
I think so. Hikaru, this seems the center of it all.
Yes, there it is. The wound that's leaking darkness into your land. A hole that's sucking out the strength of your clan bit by bit. What would you do if the magics that you brought weren't enough to close it? What would you give to heal this?
Well, this must be done for the health of my clan, my community. I would give myself.
It's good, but we should make sure that's not what it costs today.
Well, one always hopes that cost will
It's
come
a
later.
coin you can only spend once.
Even if something costs that payment is required at a later date.
Let's have you roll with lore. You have advantage on this roll, Shibakazuko, and you have a friend there who can assist afterwards if it does not go as well as you wished. There's almost
Alright.
no chance that you could fail.
No, not with this dice roller. All right. Let's bring up 3d6s. And it's plus lore. So I think I'm +1 or +2? +2. Okay. 5 and a 2 and a 3, so 8, 10.
Get a 10.
Nice.
Tell me what this looks like when you seal this.
I think a great we summon forth a great burning, and these flames that aren't flames just pass right through us into this shrine, and they're green and black and purple. They aren't fire like fire, and it slams into the areas of this maybe shrine or once a shrine or whatever this horrible place is, and it just burns inward until there's nothing left but the darkness.
And you may choose 2 blessings.
And the blessings are
on the
on
rituals
the
page.
Rituals page, right?
Yes.
So I think it does exactly what we desire,
Okay.
no more, no less. And I am going to select 2 Banes. The land creatures avoid attack or crave you. I don't want you to attack us. I know you.
Okay.
Or I've already warped my body once. The land warps your body in some way. So the rest, fair game.
Let me think what is an appropriate thing to know. I think that the spirit here essentially demands, I mean, that it will calm, it will heal this place, but each year you or one of your family must return to this place.
It shall be done.
If it fails, then this will reopen, and all those that wait behind the seal will come pouring out.
And this pilgrimage will be made once a year, annually.
And the ghosts will be drawn back in. The wind now you feel, because the wind turns real and it goes the other way, and it draws them in, pulls them in, kicking and screaming and shouting. And you see faces of people that you know going by. You see Hikaru, you see Naginori's brother come whipping past you at one point. It everything gets drawn in, and then and it's still, and it's quiet. What's the scene between Hikaru and Kazuko like when you finally have a chance, now that this danger is past and you're heading back, to maybe talk about what's happening? Because clearly, I think, Kazuko, you would see that Hikaru, certainly things that are weighing on his mind.
The weight of courtly matters seems so small after seeing that, but they are still weights that bear on us. How did you find the court, my friend?
The court. Court, as ever, is a confounding machine that seeks to grind us all down into nothing but bits and dust of what we used to be.
Maybe the trick is to learn to use the machine in ways that it can help you.
Yes, the unicorn, we've been the unicorn so long out there in the outside lands. Learning how to take those problems, root them out, find the weakness in the world and throw it away and take only the strength. But I can't help thinking recently, especially with the visit of the Kirin. It wasn't the unicorn clan that left this land. It wasn't the unicorn clan that used to work the machinery of this court. It was the Kirin. And it may just be a name. It may just be a shift in title. But I don't think it is. I think we left something behind here, and we found something like it out in the world. But here is not there, and those tools, I don't know if those tools serve us here.
We are forever then stuck between two worlds.
That's a trick, though, isn't it? Getting things unstuck. Like you up there. I have to say, I don't know if I've ever seen someone wear their power that well. It sits comfortably on you.
I wouldn't say comfortably, but it fit.
The weight of the kami should never be comfortable, you're right. But it fits you.
It ties the fate of my people to the fate of my family quite tightly in ways that may play out, well, in ways that may be unknown in the future. It seems a simple pilgrimage, but is that all it will become when time and legend have overtaken the practice?
You have to see, you have to realize within yourself that your power, your abilities, they don't tie you to your clan. They don't tie you to your family. They tie you to this land. They tie you into everything. The kami say they favor one house or one clan over the other, but they're fickle. They don't see things the same way we do. They favor this land and its peoples. The responsibility and the favor doesn't just sit on one house, on one family. Your power isn't just for your clan.
I think you have shared with me a deep wisdom, one that I will carry with me forever.
Wisdom is one thing, it's the strength to act on it that's hard.
Indeed. Well, with you as my role model, I hope I will live up to the wisdom that you've given me.
That feels like a good place to cut.
Mhm.
Let us come back to the Crab Clan. Would you like to do a character scene, or do you have a house move you wish to do?
That's a good question. Let me see.
You could seize the day and finish the project.
Then I would have like +2, +2. I mean, well, +2, +1 again. But I could. I have justice.
How do you want to bring that to the project? How do you turn that victory over the mantis into a symbol for what's happening with the Ronin?
So you made that a double puzzle.
Yeah, I did.
So you did.
Do you want to think about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can have I think I am going to work on that, but I will figure out what that looks like.
Then let's come to Doji Setsumi. And it is quite the journey up the mountain. It is deliberately difficult. There is an entourage that will accompany you of dragonfly warriors, and you are led up the mountain. And at
I
first,
feel very sorry for those who have to bear my palanquin.
oh yeah, the first you think, okay, we're going up this bigger mountain, but then they'll say, no, that's Togashi Mountain. That is where the monks. That is where they live, where they train, where they study. The Miramoto holding the castle, the school is this way. It is still a hike, and your bearers are like, oh God. But eventually you arrive, and the Miramoto fortress, the Kayuden there is striking, but it doesn't need to be like super defensible because the mountain does so much of that, and so it is allowed to be just kind of a natural place. And I gave a name. I named her Tombo Mariko, who is with you.
That's the dragonfly.
Dragonfly, and you will be taken into the court, and you will see badges of all of the dragon here. You will see the Togashi tattooed Izuzume monks, the other Togashi who are not of that tattooed order. You will see the Miramoto. You'll see the badges of the Miramoto sword school. There, they use the dual blade style, and you will see the Kitsuki there in their armors, and the Agasha, the Shugenja amongst the Dragon Clan, who are there. They are smiths and forge masters and that kind of thing. That is their art, is in that. And you'll be brought in, and you will see seated at the point of honor there is a place put on a relatively equal level across, clearly to daimyo to daimyo, and you'll be brought there, and you will look up, and you know this woman.
Mm-hmm. And I think as we arrive,
No, you've
sorry.
never seen her before, but you know this woman.
Is this not the Thunderer?
But you didn't have a chance to see her. When we talked about Hitomi before, we established that you hadn't met her.
Okay, okay.
But you have seen her.
Where have I seen her?
You saw her when the kami opened your gaze to the future. When you lifted that bridal veil.
That was Sherry who saw that.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot that. I apologize. Then for the audience, we see that, I guess, at home. I had gotten that mixed up.
Mm-hmm. That was the lovely. Sherry had the great line of, "Sometimes the heart breaks." That was so. Oh, it's delightful. But yeah,
And Miramoto Hitomi will greet you. And you see that she is missing her arm, but she has you've been told that she had an obsidian hand, but her hand is actually made of jade when you see it.
Okay.
And it moves like a natural hand.
And as we come in with my kind of phalanx of the people that would be with me, it is almost choreographed how they all bow, the unison. They probably do the rising phoenix sort of bow. And then as I stand there, I give a nod of respect of one to another in their home and wait to be spoken to.
Greetings, Daimyo. Honored Doji Setsume. I had word from our ambassadors that you had taken over command of the crane, and here the crane come to the mountain. The last daimyo to come here was the Scorpion daimyo.
I hope that we can be more pleasant than perhaps that was.
He came to see Togashi before deciding to kill the emperor. So years ago.
I am so very thankful that you have welcomed me here. I have not been to your lands, and it is striking and awe-inspiring to see them. And I am gratified to be allowed that honor.
What is it that brings you here, Doji Setsume? This is, you will admit, an unusual journey, an unusual quest. And so I know you have a purpose. So I would know that, and then we can talk more discreetly afterwards. But I would know what you want first.
Of course, and as with most difficult journeys, it originates in Odasanuchi at the will of our emperor.
Toturi.
Can I have a flashback moment of
Sure.
when we got here to town? I would like to have had one of my little sparrows come to drop me a little info.
Absolutely. You've got a thing for that, don't you?
I do.
And what does that say?
My little sparrows, your spies lurk across the land feeding me reports. Each day you may secretly meet with them and ask them a question about that group, which I've entered a new settlement. I want to know about their leaders is the group I want.
Okay.
And the GM will answer honestly. You may ask a follow-up question, but after each one, the GM may make a reaction, increasing the spy's risk of discovery.
So what's your first question?
What is it that the Morimoto are trying to hide?
That Miramoto Hitomi no longer wishes to have the dragon sit back and watch.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a significant change. And so most of the dragon are not addressing that dragon in the room.
And Morimoto is not the ruling clan.
No, it was
Correct.
Togashi, but they're the spiritual ones, and the daimyo of the Togashi turned out to be a kami and died in the great war against Fuleng. But the Miramoto have always been the front, strong arm of the clan, the real boots on the ground clan, and they have taken up the role of the Miramoto being the leaders of the Dragon Clan.
Okay, so they are in charge now. All right. Oh, that's a lovely piece of information. Thank you, little sparrow. I don't think I will put you in any further danger.
Thank you. We cut back to this
mhm.
conversation.
Indeed. Our emperor looks to the west and regrets that dragon has so long kept its wisdom from the court. Now, my lady, my friend, I do not come simply because of the emperor. I also come because Crane and Dragon are ancient and great houses. We have known friendship and we have also known enmity. There's no reason for us to cloud that. But this is a new age. This is a new time. It is a time for our houses to be in friendship. And we in Crane have sent a gift. Something which survived for millennia, perhaps even longer. And I'll make a motion and a box will be brought in. The box itself is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But as I motion, they'll come forward and kind of put it at the bottom of the dais there. We had it within our vaults, and many legends are associated with it. Our craftsmen have adorned it, but perhaps it itself is of greater value than any adornment we may give. May I present it?
Please.
I motion and they open the box. Inside, who knows if it's a dragon or just a dinosaur, but there is a fossilized egg. Around it is a golden filigreed cage almost, sort of a wrapping. And as the box itself lets it rise up, so it sits above it.
Mm-hmm.
And as they step back from it, one of them just lightly touches the filigree and it begins to spin. And the filigree shows a dragon flying around the egg. As I present a gift of great worth, and I give them morale and take influence.
This is truly a great gift. She goes through the 3 times cannot accept this through that formal ritual and then accepts this. We shall feast and then we shall speak some more.
Of course.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we will go to Azamel and move forward. Okay?
My gosh, this game is good.
You're muted. Feels so good to say that.
I know. We've never used, except for that once, we've never used that battle move. It's all been diplomacy and
We have not, yeah.
I mean, it's something I'd still leave in there because I think
oh
in
yeah.
the longest arc of the game, it would happen eventually.
I like the alliance idea, the idea right now, just having seen it once. I like the idea of the alliance mechanic that's in Shattered City.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more how that plays out. Because right now, just watching it, it looks like being an alliance is nice. But I also have to figure out what you get when you have influence over someone in that game. So, of course, I put some jelly beans in my mouth and then I immediately started to talk. Because that's Halloween. Haruma Reiko.
Yes.
Have you thought of an answer to the question I put to you earlier?
Yeah, I think that essentially the whole thing with the Justice versus Mantis is that, of course, the Crane lean into in like a good fight, right? But the places where they run into the Mantis are at the docks, at the, on the seas, on the thing. And I think that what happens is neither the Mantis nor the Crab can actually sustain a long brawl. And there's a lot of innovation on the ground to create rules and to bring in ringers and those sorts of things. And it ends up being that there's a sort of very quick evolution for the Crab, where they find Ronin and skilled craftspeople and stuff that are actually incredibly valuable to them in the sort of this set of fights. And for them, it's actually a chance where, I said that they've taken trade and everything. Their ability to do that actually grows quickly because of this fight, because of those rules and having to bring people in and sort of act that way. And I think that
like a weird sport or game that you kind of bring.
Yeah, it's a sort of a set of rules that go to it that essentially between the Mantis and the thing, and it kind of becomes a parlance for, what do you say, and usable model for, yeah, it's rugby, but it's rugby that if you play, when you get called in really well, they'll keep you around and, let you drink from the sports drink thing, carry you off on their shoulders. I mean, essentially, it becomes a sort of very natural way to become part of the clan. And not as a family, not in a different part of it, that you become part of the family as part of the, like essentially, well, these are our holdings, we need you to do this. You're not a vassal family, it's just much easier to move into the family that way. And it becomes a model, and the Mantises have actually adopted it, if that makes any sense. And it's very, I think what it ends up being is, as much as anything is, it's like too useful to be ignored by the other clans.
Then erase surplus justice.
Okay.
And we will get to it in a moment, but the project will be completed.
Right.
The project being completed will trigger some things, but I want to resolve the Doge Setsume thing first. So I'm going to give Tyler a little bit more time when we're going to resolve that stuff, and then we'll hit other people. Doji Setsume.
Yes.
She offers you an alliance. She says, within our own house, things are disrupted by tensions between myself and Togashi Hoshi, son of Togashi Okuni.
I have heard such rumors.
I would defer to him in matters of the spirit and of the Togashi family, and he is definitely the daimyo of the Togashi. The question is, who leads the clan?
Mm-hmm.
And I wish to lead the dragon out into the outside world. Togashi Hoshi wishes to keep the dragon here. But I think that we can achieve a compromise. The Togashi themselves are the monks and the spiritualists of our family, and if they wish to remain on the mountain, they may. But the rest of the clan will look outward.
This seems wise.
I would bind our fates to the crane. But there is a condition.
There usually is, my lady.
A marriage.
It is an age-old tradition to bring clans together. Who do you propose?
I propose that you and I wed. It will be a sign of a new age. It'll be a sign to any who might watch that the dragon and the crane are bound together in a way that cannot be split.
I see.
That is my offer.
Do not take my hesitation.
It is, no, I would not. It is a decision with many practical consequences. It balances against the Scorpion's continued influence, the lion pushing on all sides. The uncertainty that reigns amongst the unicorn.
My lady, would you allow me a night to think?
Without a doubt.
I should say, as you may know, there was one who was greatly treasured in my heart, who has been stolen by Clan Crab.
I bear no love for the crab. And she lifts up her hand.
It's her right or left?
I think it's her right hand. I actually had to look. Right.
They have stolen your hand and my heart. If you are understanding of that, then I will come tomorrow with an answer.
And she will bow. And what do you do?
Oh, me. As in, what do I answer?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to move on and then I have a chance
Well,
to think.
the next thing I need to do is the Emperor's project. Or how about this? Let me do a quick check-in with the other people before we go to sort of the resolution of the project, because I do want to know about how Shinjo Hikaru changes his role, how Shibuzuko is received. We'll do them, and then we'll come back to your answer, and then we'll go to the project resolution, okay? Hikaru, how do you become Ronin? How do you break from your family? Is that what you wish to do? Having seen these things, having walked alongside your friend, having spoken to spirits, what do you think?
So basically my plan is, and this may be a plan that works better in a turning of ages because I can just lay it out rather than fighting with dice. But basically he goes digging through the ancient treasures and the old magics of the Unicorn Clan to find a symbol of the compact that the clan made with the unicorn spirit when they left the homelands. Something familiar that they found in the outside world that could sustain them like the Kyrian had in old times. And basically he takes it, he goes to the Shinjo holdings to Miho's court. He knows the schedules, he knows the people, and no one really pays attention to him, especially these days. And I think he attacks her in the throne room when no one is there. I think he uses magics and weapons that he hasn't pulled out for a long time, and basically with a sword to her throat gives her the a thing of, you and I, between us, we are spurring this clan to its due. We're driving the horse off of a cliff, and no one will survive it. For the strength of the herd, for the strength of our clan, we must not be. I give you a chance. You can step down. You can leave this behind. We can leave this behind and go back out into the world to find something new. But your place is not here any more than mine is.
Roll plus bravery.
Whew. Ooh, I got some bravery. Okay, so that's a 7 plus 2 is 9. It's not bad.
So you have a choice. It's only a temporary safety, and the danger will soon return. Like, yes, she'll step down, but she'll be coming for you. The danger's still present, but threatening someone or something else, like the clan. Or safety demands a sacrifice.
Safety demands a sacrifice.
Lo, I have a question. Isn't there a thing where if you have influence on a clan, you can assist?
That's for house moves, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Then I think we see you leave the tent. And it is a short time later that they find the body.
They find with it the seal, the compact with the unicorn runes written in blood on it and cracked down the middle. And I think as the ancient compact is broken and the power of the clan shifts is when his Hikaru's Ronin role takes over. The move I picked up from it was tabs. Free agent, your name, your house, your history, all a mystery to those that meet you. No one will recognize you until you reveal yourself to them. I think like in the show or movie of our game, what that looks like is you see as you see Hikaru walking away from that room, it's just like a neck down shot. And then as people go running past him and it sort of zooms in on him, like from here on out, the only facial shots that we see of Hikaru are like weirdly focused and zoomed in. So you'll see like the line of his jaw as he's talking, or like it'll zoom in on like one eye and an eyebrow as he's looking intensely, but there's this disconnect from his face as a whole. There's no like focusing on his features.
Shiba Kazuko, you return and are welcomed for having done what others could not, for having brought strength and a possibility for your clan. What is it that you want, Shiba Kazuko? Because your daimyo will give it to you.
I think I want holdings on the outskirts of the forest.
We will give you your own holding. We will give you retainers. We will make you, you will be essentially a daimyo of a kind with retainers that service your house, and you will be a noble family within the house of Shiba.
Thank you, and we shall nurture these forests so that they provide for all of Phoenix for all time to come.
You will need to find a husband. We can
Needs must.
we can make those arrangements. Or if you have things you wish to look to, you can look in your own way. You have done much for us, so we'll give you that freedom.
I will answer you after the Imperial Court meets.
Good. Doji Setsume.
That night, as I sit, and I will send everyone away and be sitting alone. I'm imagining in somewhere of stone.
Your bodyguard is still outside the door. That's as far as he will go.
And I'll have actually some attendant for him that will stay there despite his protests because he's not well. And
the Tanbo will look after him. She's quite good.
Excellent. But in this stone room, so bare compared to back home in Doji, I imagine there's a fire. And I sit there long through the night. And then I'd like to cast a ritual.
Please do.
I'm going to use our house ritual of Echoes of the Breeze.
Okay. So it is your house ritual.
I'm taking the 7 to 9.
Taking the 7 to 9 results without rolling. Okay. In that case, pick one blessing.
My blessing I'm picking. Sorry, I moved away from it. And I should have remembered that. All right. The magic does exactly what you desire, no more nor less. Oh, actually, no. It's far more powerful than normal.
Okay. And I think as you do that, you have a clear, crystal clear vision, perfect vision of Hikaru slitting the throat of his daimyo. And then who is it you're reaching through with this?
One might guess, but I'm looking for Reiko Hiruma.
So you are tending to Naginori. You're showing her the wall.
Mhm.
When that you see that crane that you know
And you may refuse me.
is the beckoning call, that ritual that Doji Suzumi is doing somewhere to speak with you.
And Naginori has met him, and she sort of bows and says, I must speak to Doji Satsumi. If you would excuse me for a moment. And
I will keep watch.
You're most kind. And she'll step away, get the slightest hesitation. And then up there on the wall, she hits the thing, and that's what you see behind her is the Shadowlands
The
beyond.
burnt grounds, the darkness, the in the distance, the green lightning flashing.
Reiko.
Satsumi.
It is good to see your face.
You are always the most beautiful thing that I have ever gazed upon.
Reiko. Let's take a ship. We will sail east. We will watch the sun rise every day, and we will forget this place. Come with me. Let's leave.
They've proposed your wedding, haven't they? You shouldn't fight it.
Crane and dragon, united as one.
I can see a future writ large.
Come away with me.
I cannot.
There was a time we did not care, where we were enough for each other.
Toji Satsumi, this is the most beautiful moments. That was a beautiful world I was in when I was with you. But this is my world.
And I'll look across that blasted, horrible space. It doesn't have to be.
I cannot step away from my family. I cannot step away from my father.
Then our destiny is sealed, is it?
Does not change my heart, but yes, it is sealed.
It does not change my heart, but it is sealed.
I will treasure that.
I will not feel it, your warmth, your touch, but the image steps forward. But will you kiss me one last time?
Yes.
And the image and the person. And I don't know if there is something to the greater power that it was, but when the kiss ends, you're alone.
And she kind of stands there, and because she's facing Crablands rather than Shadowlands, and she kind of squares her shoulders and she goes, okay, let's go. And she will turn and go and join Naginori. Sorry, I always say that incorrectly.
And in the throne room of the Morimoto, in my finest, with all of my attendants, having somewhere up here found flowers, I will come forward. My lady, it is with greatest gratitude and most honest and sincere hope for the burgeoning love that will be between us when I offer a marriage between us.
She will nod. She's ambitious. And this is good.
Oh, aren't we all?
So, when the Emperor's project is complete and has been done successfully, change is accepted across the land, and each player will choose one of these things. I have put that in the text box. It's up a little bit from past things. It starts with resolution. And I'm going to quickly read through them. You seize a lucrative position in the Emperor's new social order. You hold on to the old ways despite disfavor. You rode the wave of change, empowering your bright minds. Your new social taboos provide many opportunities for blackmail. The civil unrest caused by the upheaval meant you had to fight to keep peace and safety. You have a new way of carrying on your clan's way of life. I believe it is possible for multiple people to take the same one. I think we established that last time. Herma Reiko, you were the last person to add to this. Do you wish to go first or last?
I think the crab sees a lucrative position in the Emperor's new social order. This actually gives them to actually step up as sort of the engineers, the architects of the Emperor. It sounds like a minor thing, but it allows them to actually have some say on the roads and the ports and on what passes. It's like a ton of power in some ways. And it's, yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe. Does that
Surplus
make
Koku,
sense?
yeah, and add one to the family's reach.
Okay.
Shinjo Hikaru. We can assume that the Moto take control. Essentially, there would be a hold together, which would trigger all of those changes. So what does that look like, and what does the Moto take away from this?
So I think what it looks like is similar to that night a while ago when the Emperor and the leaders of the great clans had dreams of the Kirin announcing the glory of the unicorns. I think Motoyasu and the important heads of the different unicorn families get a dream that night after Miho dies of the Kirin coming back. I mean, things are rough. So I think it has like the bloody head of the unicorn in its mouth that it sort of plops down in front of Yasu and welcomes its lost children back from their long wanderings. That even here in the lands, he had wondered if they would ever find their way back, but they've truly returned. And I think Motoyasu wakes up and finds a new way of carrying on their clan's way of life.
Interesting.
Gain a new move from clan playbook, but change your doctrine and feature. And I think the doctrine and feature change are going to be the freedom of the saddle samurai are very close with their mounts and can find new mounts anywhere, and nomadic remnants, where our samurai are spread all throughout the land. And I think the unicorn take a more sort of proactive stance in the land, in the empire. I think they spread out. They sort of become the unofficial and slowly more and more accepted guards of the road of travel. That they have scouts everywhere, and that they can share a lot of secret information about the land to people that approach them the right way.
Absolutely, a nice synergy between the dragon, the unicorn and the crab, just as we have the synergy between the crane and the dragon. What do you wish, Doja Satsume, for your pick?
I think that coming off of the success with the dragons and this being completed, I also will be seizing a lucrative position. The new role of the crane is to arbitrate disagreements between the clans, under the favor of the emperor, of course. And
Taking away something from, there's some imperial families where that would have been their position, so taking some of the role of the what we'll call the Otomo family. Okay, I like that.
Seem good? All right.
Yeah, surplus Koku and one to reach. What about for the Phoenix clan? What do they take away from this successful project?
I think we accept this new practice, this new way. The Shiba accept some of these new Ronin into their numbers. As we ride out this wave of change. And intrigued by a conversation that Shiba Kazuko had with Shinjo Hikaru. I think we fall deep into the study of the kami and their true nature. And so our innovation would be, I think we discover new ways to communicate with them.
So you're taking the new move from the clan playbook and the change doctrine and feature?
Yeah.
Makes
Doctrine,
sense.
yep.
All right. We are going to move to epilogues. These epilogues are not about your clans. These epilogues are about you. Your clans are who they are. We may at some point come back somewhere down the road with new characters within those clans, but those clans stand as they are. So they will be who they are. This is where they stand. But I want to know what we see of each of your characters. Haruma Reiko, going in that same order we just did.
I think that when push comes to shove, there's a point at which the emperor, with the problems with the blood speakers and stuff, decides that the Emerald Magistrates need to have their own independent set of investigators that look into those things, if nothing else, to call other specialists in. And he specifically taps Reiko for that. One, because she's traveled with his one magistrate, with the champion.
Get the Emerald Champion.
Yeah, the Emerald Magistrate, Miramoto, not Neosh, not Naoshigi, I think. But also because she has actually spoken to him and sort of been that person that ended up being the one communicating with him as those projects went forward. So he sees her, and then when he understood that that's what her new role was, he just insisted that she be that one. This is not entirely pleasing to the Crab Clan, but that is her job, and she has a staff under her that are a mix of Crab and other clans that is what they look into. And then from there decide that. And there's a lot of politics to go to it. So if that makes any sense. So that's
Absolutely.
what she's doing.
That makes perfect sense. There is an office called the Jade Champion that has been emptied and vacated, and they will make you the Jade Champion.
Oh, good. And I will be front and center at all those awkward times, won't I? Excellent.
Shinjo Hikaru. We know a little bit, but what do we see of your path after this?
So I think we see Shinjo Hikaru on the road. He's riding on the back of Masa, and while he's in simple clothing, it's not the like wretched, unclean priest robes that we'd seen him in for so long. It is still the purple of the Unicorn Clan, but has no symbols or markings on it. It's good, sturdy travel wear. And I think we see him approaching Dust Springs, up there to the very north, the landmark of where the unicorn first returned to the lands, out of the mountains, out of the outside world. A natural spring that had dried up after they watered their horses and came through into the land again. And as he moves up to it, the sort of like well and marker shrine that the unicorns had left up around it, he hears the trickle and gurgle of water flowing up out of the spring. He smiles quietly to himself and lets Masa rest for a moment to drink from the spring. And then he climbs up on the saddle mounts and heads off into the foothills of the mountains, off to pay for a deal broken, because all magic comes with a price.
Doji Satsume.
I think we see a wedding. Clearly a wedding.
Yeah.
Flowers and all of the accoutrement of a proper wedding. As our camera pans down to see an older Satsume and his Muramoto wife, as they are there looking so proud, beaming as only parents can beam. Across the way, we see an older Toturi. He is also pleased, his son, to be married to not just Crane, but Crane and Dragon. As these two teenagers come together in marriage, Satsumi looks to his wife. She looks back. He says, "This has done us well." She goes, "You know I love what we can do together." I love what we can do together as well. It's almost like we love each other. She goes, almost.
Shiba Kazuko, what is it we see of you in this epilogue?
We see Shiba, excuse me, kissing her husband goodbye as she leaves on another adventure.
Do we get any sign of what is it? Is the husband figure kind of the one, like it's like in a comic book where they're kind of vaguely drawn in the background? We don't get they kind of don't have a face kind of thing.
You just have the shape of the dead and actually two small children. Who Shiba Kazuko will come back and tell tales of adventure and perhaps that she was able to travel yet again with the great monk Hikaru.
Yeah.
But
who he's named after, of course.
Yep. And so that's, I think we just see her leaving for more adventure. I think that suits her.
Excellent. And that feels like a good place to stop. And that helps us kind of get a resolution, a capper on these stories. We got through 2 projects in the course of this.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'd like to just take a few minutes to say final thoughts, final stars here for everything. Sherry, final thoughts on stars for players, for the game, for whatever you want to say about the system, anything.
Let's see here. One, this hack, I don't know why, but it is the L5R I've been wanting to play. It kind of gets to the big picture. It has a reason why we're together as characters. It makes those moments so rich and so special. It's not slugging around and, it's just, it was all good. It was all gold. Just like my fellow players. My gosh. Patrick. That was awesome. It's Shiba Kazuko. I love the last forest. The haunted forest was just awesome. Fabulous stuff. And Tyler, thank you. You ripped my heart out. So, very nicely done. So it was all good. And Lowell, you were okay with this whole.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Didn't share the jelly beans. So
Yeah. Oh no, she got her own little bowl of jelly beans. So
what about us?
Yes. I'll tell you, the other day I was like, God, I really want some Jelly Bellies. And so I went in order to pound each of my favorite flavors. So I've got a big thing downstairs that I've shoved together. It is the most indulgent thing I think I've ever done. Except for when I accidentally bought the 5 pounds of Sour Patch Kids because I didn't realize how big it was. But
that's so great.
It's great. Shinju Hikaru, Patrick.
I will echo as well. This hack, this reimagining of Free from the Yoke is amazing. I've really enjoyed both games of Free from the Yoke that I've played. But I don't know, there was something about this setting or this group or the way that this hack was put together or all of it that just kept sucking us down from the high level into the character and emotional level at all the right moments and in all the right ways. And it was just, it was so good. It was so good. Sherry and Tyler, that scene on the wall and the communication and the kiss that fades off and stuff. Oh God, it was so good. It was so awful, and I hate you, and it was amazing. Similarly, Scott, the 2 of us going through that haunted forest and just the conversation and the philosophy that you gave back to me was very much the sort of thing I was looking for out of the scene, but also just the way that you, me, and Lowell were all like, well, this haunted forest is really cool and super atmospheric, and that's neat, but let's not roll like fighting or magic or stuff like that. Let's talk more. Let's talk about feelings in the middle of all the ghosts.
Yeah.
Get
to the important stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I guess a begrudging star to the dice page. Thank you for screwing me so hard and just punching down every high-minded ideal I had until it led just into pure tragedy. And I came into this session with the thought of like, okay, I could go for trying to get a win out of this, but instead, how can I really pay off the pain and the angst of the last 2 months? And I feel really good about the encapsulation of the unicorn story. I would 100% love to come back to this world. I would definitely not play the unicorns again. I have done to their story what I can, and I fear what further pain I would inflict upon them.
Fair enough. I think that's a fair feeling to have about getting it the way you want it. Tyler, Doji Setsume.
I'll echo. There's something really nice about. I think Patrick said reimagining because hack seems kind of insulting. It is this reimagining of Free from the Yoke is stellar. It is stellar because of what you did. So much of how this has worked is because of you, and I'm not sure that it's not a big part of it. Is you're just really brilliant at running this Free from the Yoke feel. You're really solid at it.
I love it. It's a really good game. It's right in my wheelhouse.
And I like L5R's world. I think I've said before, I think it's beautiful. I think it's pretty. What Free from the Yoke does to it makes it so much more workable, makes it so much more real and immersive because you're dealing with the whole story, not just the characters. And I think that was a big thing. L5R is like a different D&D. I mean, it's the characters doing whatever they can do, and they interact with the politics. This brings the politics in, and that's one of the most fascinating parts of L5R.
Yeah.
So this is just amazing, and oh my God, I want to play it more. Patrick and Scott, I loved that forest thing.
That was really good.
It was really solid. Y'all's interaction was so good, and what gave it nice weight was the stuff that had built up over these 2 months. This sort of, the first time we see them together, there's this insane hero worship and this kind of dismissive, blah, blah. And when we get to the end, we see Shiba as a much more mature person, and Hikaru as a person who has kind of gone through the fire, and a reduced person. And to have kind of that last bit of wisdom come from Hikaru, it was, my goodness, it's a movie scene. It was perfect, and y'all did it flawlessly. It was just that smooth. Just so good. So good. Sherry, thank you for playing this story with me.
I loved it.
I did too. And I thought that the resolution, the moment on the wall, really made me happy. It, of course, made poor old Satsumi miserable, but it made me very happy to see that resolution. So thank you so much for doing it with me. And beyond that, over these 2 months watching you play this character, amazing freaking character. Loved you as a scene partner, but seeing you do other things was always amazing. And even beyond the character, watching you mechanize and do all of your nefarious, maybe even not even nefarious, Machiavellian crab work was great too. So, I mean, just on every level, Sherry, it was brilliant. So those are my many stars, and fuck, Lo, please run this again.
I will. Oh, I'm right now. I'm just super looking forward to kind of going back in, looking at the moves and looking at the pieces and coming up with new projects for the Emperor. Now that I've kind of seen these, I have some ideas for other things that can fit more. But yeah, I'm going to take another stab at this, definitely.
It's darn good.
Scott, stars.
So I'm going to break my 1-star rule since it's the finale, and that's when we do it. I'm actually going to go one step further. This isn't the L5R I've been looking for. This is the PBTA I've been looking for.
Oh wow!
It's the thing I've always liked about Legacy is there's more crunch than some PBTA brings to the table, but not, depending on how you play it, not too much. And the way you put this together, and I never ran pure Free from the Yoke, so I don't have a basis there, but I've read it. Really struck that balance between the added crunch of what a Legacy system can bring to PBTA, but didn't take away from all the strengths that PBTA brings to the table. And that was great for me because we had the narrative stuff. But if we really wanted to get into freaking combat, we did. We did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was great. And it really did play a balance between, I think, as a retheming, where it works so well is it works like like the best rethemings of Shakespeare, and that it those get to the essence of the play and retheme it somewhere where that essence is also important, and the essence of the core setting for a 5R is just as important as it is for Free from the Yoke, and so it seems to transport over so brilliantly. It's almost like, well, why actually wasn't this already just Japan itself? It actually worked kind of better, and I think more people have more cultural knowledge of that than the default setting. But so I love the system, and it really it ticked all the Scott boxes as a rule set and a setting and a theming, and as your running's always great. Patrick, I love playing any scene with you, especially these 2 characters. And I agree with Tyler, that first scene set in motion everything. I don't come to the table knowing how my character is going to be. I just have kind of big brush strokes in mind, and then the character fills themselves in at the table. And the way that you played that first scene drove a lot of that for me. And so I ended up loving every scene we were in together.
Same.
And Tyler and Sherry, if you've ever read Japanese literature like Snow Country or any books, from the mid 20th century, your love stories straight out of those. It's just, there's like, here's the love, and it's never gonna happen, and they've just got to find a way to be. And it was so brilliantly played. And Tyler, that last scene, asking her to run away with you, like, if that was Kazuko, she would have been like, yes, okay, let's go. Because that's an adventure. But Sherry did the absolute right thing for the character. She was so true to the character. It was so great. It was a wonderful scene. So really, stars for the entire. This was a great group to play with. I'm glad that we played as many sessions as we did.
Yeah.
And it Legacy benefits from more than 4. Yeah, I definitely would love to play in this again. I love this group. This group had great synergy.
Yeah.
So,
I had a great time. Thank you so much for playing. I'm trying this out, and I'm excited. And we will play this again.
Thank you for putting it together and running it.
Yeah. It was a blast.
Awesome.
It was great.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk with, I'll probably cross paths with you, some of you on the Discord or whatnot, and be well. Okay.
All right, Tyler, I'll see you at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.